things are also available on our YouTube channel, which I'll speak to next. Also, your mic is muted, but when we get to the Q&A, you'll be allowed to speak when we enable your mics. Also, pen down your questions till then. Follow us on Twitter and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So this link takes you directly to our YouTube channel. You'll find all the videos since the start of this program. You'll find all the videos. Even yesterday's video is already on the YouTube channel. If you need to quickly brush up, you can find it there. And lastly will be the feedback. Also, let's not distract ourselves with the attendance list. It's going to be shared with you very soon. So you get the attendance list, but it's not going to be at the beginning, obviously. Towards the end of tonight's session, you will get the attendance list and you can fill your attendance as well. So just I'll just be using the mic very quickly to our speaker, Vivian, so she can take us further. Vivian, please, the floor is yours now. Thank you. I see someone's hand is raised. I don't know if they have a question before Vivian goes ahead. Najimuddin Aruna, is there a question? Okay, so I see that's not a question. Okay, let's just wait a moment while our speaker joins us. Thank you, guys. Hi, Vivian, can you unmute your mic now?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Adekunle. Okay, hello everyone. Good evening to everyone. Like I said yesterday, we're going to be doing mostly demos today. So just let me know when you can see my screen. And I hope we did not use the email security tool to do what we're not supposed to do, because I know everyone was requesting for it. Either ways, I'll just move forward. Okay, so like I said, so the major thing we're going to focus more on is the demos, so that you can understand and appreciate what Microsoft Defender can actually do. So in situations whereby maybe you're being asked to do some configurations, at least you having an idea on where to find it would help in assisting you further. Okay, all right, so moving forward. So before I start with configurations, I would like to show some specific things that would actually help direct on configurations that need to actually be put in place in some maybe in some situations where you don't have to what they call it, maybe a customer complains that maybe they need to improve their security posture in their environment, and you might be confused on, okay, how do I go about this? Where do I look at? How do I proceed? So you can do that using the secure score. So let me just start from the beginning on how I got access to it. So on the Microsoft Defender portal, let me start from the beginning direction. So under the admin center, we have the Defender portal. This is loading up. Okay. All right. So under the admin portal, we have the security admin center, which is the Defender portal. So with this portal, you can be able to configure or make configurations to some certain security features that you need in your environment. So remember yesterday, I showed different assets that you can find in the Defender portal when it comes to devices, when it comes to identities, when it comes to applications, when it comes to cloud and also AI agents. All of these assets are being monitored in the Defender portal. And also yesterday, I showed you how you can dig in deep if you want to. We didn't have device. So if you want to dig in deep to see more details on various assets, you can actually do that. And it gives you more like a bird eye view on what exactly is going on in your environment. So in situations whereby you have to maybe check a user or check a device, maybe a device was compromised, or you would want to confirm maybe some situations that is going on that asset, you can actually do a deep dive into it. So the Defender portal is more like giving you that security details on your environment and more. So moving forward, we are going to touch on the collaboration, but like I said, we're looking at the secure score. So the question now is, someone would definitely want to know, okay, what is the secure score all about? So a secure score is more like a comprehensive measurement of an organization's security posture. So if your secure score is higher, it says that your environment or your organizational security posture it's high. It's how would I put it? It's okay now that it's low, like now this is 36.79%. It's very, very bad because you're saying that there are some specific workloads that have not been configured. So it's making your environment not fully, yeah, that's what I wanted to use, not fully secured. So if it's higher, it's saying that, okay, yes, you're getting to that point whereby your workloads are secured. So the highest I've seen so far, it's about 85 to 90%, because every time there is a decline in security, maybe you decide to disable security policy, it goes down. And most of the time, if you do not implement some policies that you're supposed to implement, it will drastically go down. So now let's look at the secure score. 38.79%. This is very, very low. And in most cases, some organizations can even be lower. You might see 17% or might see 20%. So like I said, the highest I've seen so far is I think around 85%, yes. And that was because the company was very, very meticulous in ensuring that all their workloads are fully secured. So now let's go into the secure score. So another scenario whereby you would want to utilize secure score is, like I said, when maybe you are trying to understand the security posture in the environment. So you can't start going manually to every policies that have been created to see, oh, okay, which one has been created? What is this policy that has been created? So Microsoft has made it very easy for you to know all of that by ensuring that the secure score is higher, and also making sure that whatever recommendations provided by the secure score is used. So now, if you can see here, these are the breakdown of each workloads. We have the identity, we have the data, we have the apps, and also we have devices. That is how it's supposed to be, but I don't know why devices are showing up. So we have these three, which helps in improving it. So as you can see here, the data point is 749. Then you can see for the apps is 1 1. You have 119 config. When it comes to identity, we have 124 and we have 103 configured. So now let's dive into each one. Okay. Let's see if it should filter. Okay. So these are the 4 criteria I explained initially. So we have the identity, data, device, and app. So let's filter based on identity. So you're saying identity, you have 14.57%, and this is the tier. So that means 18.07 has been achieved out of 124. Imagine how very, very low it is. So the good thing about Microsoft Secure Score is that it doesn't just leave you hanging. It will give you recommendations. So when I mean recommendations, to tell you what you need to configure to improve it, and to then give you the score impact. So what is the score impact? Score impact means that if I configure this action, so the action is to ensure that multi-factor authentication is enabled for all users. So if I configure this action, I'm going to be getting plus 2.79 score. So it's going to add to what I have. So that is how you see each action. Most of the time, the highest score impact, if you want to really improve your secure score, then you focus on devices. Devices is always very high score impact. So let's go to devices so you see what I'm talking about. So for devices, it's showing 0. It's not allowing me to see the device. Let me see if I'll be able to see it here. Okay. I don't know why it's not allowing me to see device, but let me just proceed with the ones we can see. Let me see data. I think data is another high impact so as well. Yes, I see. Yeah, I knew. Okay, so if you can see here, score impact is 11.11%. So if I configure the specific thing right now, it would add 11.11% to my secure score. And when it adds it to my secure score, it gives me a higher secure score. So if you can see this now, ensure DLP policies are enabled. So DLP policies is specifically for what they calling it for purview, which will be taken in the next class. So for purview, once you have this DLP enabled, you get plus 55.56%. Although it's I think it has been, yeah, I think I enabled it. I think that's the reason why we have this high score here, so 7.378. This and this, I think I did this two already. So that's why it's giving that, because if you can see here, it's saying completed. So if I do the rest of this two, then it would increase my secure score for data. So that is how all of them looks like. So if you then go over to recommended actions, like I stated, so for each recommended actions has its own score impact. So most of the time, various security teams, just to make sure that they want to improve their score impact, they mostly go for the higher one. They look for the higher ones, like this one now. So these are the things that we're going to be configuring today: safe links policy, turn on Stave attachments in block mode, enable mailbox. So all of these are under the the Microsoft Defender for Office, which is the email security solution for Microsoft. So internal phishing protection for forms. So if I turn all of this on right now, okay, well, I think most of them are already turned on, but they're not really, most of the configurations are by default. But if I turn most ones that are not already addressed, it will then improve the score. So you have about 91, you have 91 recommendations, which some have done and some have not been done. All right, so let me check on history. So history shows you what and what's like. I remember I did some configurations around March. Let me see here. Self password reset. So it shows you what has been done so far and how this has actually increased your secure score as well. So metrics and trends, just showing you how the metrics is going, how it's in. So the thing about secure score is you can increase it today and tomorrow it reduces, maybe based on another recommendation that Microsoft decides to provide. So you can see regress, you can see points 1.0, 1.01. So that's it. All right, so now let's move over to the email collaboration. All right, so I know we treated basically this. I explained what each one does for investigations. If you want to investigate in depth of certain emails that were labeled as malware or phishing emails under investigations, you can do that. I also explained what Explorer does. Explorer shows all emails, so you can see blocked emails. You can see delivered to junk. You can see delivered. So you can see all these emails that are in different locations. So remember those emails that I sent to my using the email security solution. So look at most of them here. So if they were blocked, it will specify that they were blocked. So you see most of them were going to the inbox, some were in quarantine. Please hold on. Sorry for the break in transmission. There was a serious wave that's yeah. So moving forward, all right. So yes, and also we talked about the quarantine and the rest. So now let's go back to creating the policy. Then also we'll do the attack simulation training. Yeah. So under the threat policy, so we have different policies. So there's what we call the preset security policy. So for the preset security policy, some organizations do not, probably maybe an IT admin does not know how to probably configure, or they can't, I don't know if I'm Am I audible, please? Hello, Adekunle, can you hear me? Please, can anyone hear me? Okay, is it clear now? Okay, okay, okay. All right, thank you. All right, sorry about that. Okay. So please let me know when you can't hear me anymore. Yeah, okay. Thank you. All right, so for preset policies, all right, so for preset policies, going back to this security. Okay. I don't know. I got disconnected. Please, am I audible now? Okay, thank you. I think the rain is just making everything else. So it's okay. Let's go back to preset policies. Hopefully the network will not break again. All right, so for preset policies, in some organizations, the IT team might not really know how to maybe put a specific policy in place, and they go ahead to use preset policies. So for preset policies, we have different types. We have the standard protection and we have the strict protection. So the strict protection is more aggressive. So once you turn it on, it automatically creates a policy for your anti-phishing, anti-spam, etc. So for your email security, it creates all of that automatically for you. So that means you don't need to do anything from your end. So most organizations that do not know how to configure this, they choose to create this either of the two: standard, which is less aggressive, and then strict protection, which is more aggressive. So we're not going to be using any of the protection because we want to do it ourselves. We want to configure those policies based on our own understanding. All right, so we are configuring the anti-phishing policy. Okay, Charles said you can't see my screen. Is that for everyone to as well? Everyone can see my screen. Okay, okay, all right, okay, all right. Thank you. Okay, so for the anti-phishing policy, so what is anti-phishing policy? Yes. So that is the question. What is anti-phishing policy? So creating an anti-phishing policy is to help increase the protection in terms of phishing. So yesterday I taught us what phishing is all about. That's the reason why I actually did all of those things. So that before we start, you actually understand what I'm talking about, and you won't just get confused. So creating anti-phishing policy is we are trying to prevent any form of phishing in the environment. And when I talk of phishing, I mean someone trying to send fake emails or fake emails, or maybe someone tried to send links for people to click on, impersonation attacks, spoofing attacks, all of those things. Yeah. So this all falls under anti-phishing policy. So we're going to be creating one. So when creating a policy, you definitely have to give a name. So in cases, I'll give a scenario where they use just users, and also give a scenario use domains. So a scenario where you use user is, for the solution that provides this anti-phishing configurations, etc., which is the Microsoft Defender for Office. Some organizations might just decide, maybe there are 30 people in the organization. They might just decide to say, okay, I want to only assign those license, or the amount of license we are purchasing for this is just going to be 2M. Out of 20, we're just going to purchase 10. And if peradventure you configure for the 10 people, and because I think I've come across an organization that they would say that, okay, I want to just buy 10 out of 20, it's going to cover for everybody. It's going to users, because when the safe attachment comes in, especially when it comes to safe attachment and links, they will delay to deliver to the users. So in most cases, we always advise you have to make sure that if you're buying for 10, only the 10 users will be able to utilize it. You're not going to say you're buying for 10 people and want the 20 people to use. So in that case, that's where the users comes. Have to add those users in that scenario. So on the organization, that is where you add the domain. So you're saying that this domain is the only anything that concerns this domain. If you have multiple domains, where this policy will be included, or which domain the policy would attach to. So those users will then have to be creating. All right, so moving forward, now we're configuring a policy for impersonation. So I mentioned that anti-phishing things, when it comes to, it tackles 3 categories: impersonation, attacks, and also mailbox intelligence anomalies. So for the impersonation attacks, so we're saying that, okay, we want to enable it for users. So you say you want to enable for specific users, then you can go ahead to do that, but that's like a lot. So it's better you enable it for all your domains. So you just click on include domains that I own. So when you include domains that are owned, then you're going to be able to add it to all your domains that you have in the organization. So there's trusted senders and domain. Most of the times it is not advisable to use this. Why? Because you add a trusted sender. Maybe a trusted sender can be, for example, Adekunle is from another, and I add here the sender. If I add him here as a trusted sender and he's been spoofed, or maybe in his own domain, in his own organization, an attacker has already taken charge of his account. So because I allowed him already, it's just be easier for the attacker to just send directly, and there will be no suspicions. And at the end of the day, attackers also clone emails. So if they clone emails and that trusted sender is the email they cloned, it will come in straight up. So you have to make sure that you don't allow trusted sender. It's very, very important. But in some cases, reason why people actually allow trusted is maybe users are not receiving it, just temporarily come here and just add it. And once they get what they want, they just disable it. So we're going to enable mailbox intelligence. So the reason why is because mailbox intelligence is, I would say, is one of the strongest features in this Defender for Office. It helps you to, once you enable it, it helps you to build more like a how do they call it? The AI. So for mailbox intelligence, it builds a contact graph for each. So it's not like it's making figures through every time. So that if there is an anomaly, it will be able to detect it. There's always false positives. So we already understand that fact that most of the times things that what I call false positives are things that you think that are they are bad, but they are not bad. They seem like they are bad, but they're not bad. So we always know that there's always false positive because it cannot learn everything at once. But it's always advisable this is enabled so that it can learn how users communicate, so that if there's any anomalies from that sender, it would strike. So also we have the enable intelligence for impersonation. So this enhances impersonation results on each individual sender map and also allows you to define specific actions on impersonated messages. So it's just more of, and now that we have AI is now what would determine user patterns and understand if there's any impersonation attempts. So impersonation can be someone cloning another email. So the reason why, initially when I talked about security and attacks and the rest of it, an attacker can actually clone an email. It will look like it is a real email, but at the end of the day, if you go in depth into the message header, you'll be able to then see the original email it's from. So that is how it works. That's how attackers operate. So when you check your normal email, you see from, okay, this is a confirm, this is the email I know. But when you then check the message header, you then realize that it is not from that person. So that is where phishing attacks occur. But with this enabled, it can actually detect most of these things in depth. So that means it does not only look at the from address. It doesn't only look at the sender address. It also looks in depth at the from address to make sure that they all align. So let's now talk about spoofing. All right, so just like how we have impersonation, we also have spoofing. So spoofing is when an attacker forges the sender address, just like how I explained, or what I explained just now. It forges the sender address of an email, so it appears to come from someone the recipient trusts. So the email isn't really from that person, but it will just look like it until you now go in depth and you see that the from address is actually different. So that's how spoofing works. Now, so you have to enable spoof intelligence so that it will detect that as well. So remember that I enabled all of this and the reason why it was enabled. So now the message actions, what would happen when these things are detected? So if a message is detected as domain impersonation, what happens? Do you want us to redirect the message to other email address? So you can redirect it. If you have a security team group email, you can redirect the message to other email address. If you want the message to be moved to junk email folders, which is very risky because some users can be very surprising. They'll just go to their junk emails and just say, okay, this looks authentic, and just click on it and open it. So it's not always advisable in an enterprise or even in an organization. Then quarantine this message. This is the popular thing that every organization should be able to do, which is to quarantine the message. So the reason why you have to quarantine the message is because it actually makes it easy. It actually makes it very easy in terms of the admin can literally go to the quarantine and check, okay, this message, I need to check and make sure that it is not an impersonated email or a phishing email, and allow it if possible, based on the policy that organizations use for quarantine. Then another option is to deliver the message and add other address to the blind copy line. So you're saying, okay, deliver the message, but somebody else should be blind copy. So in this case, an IT admin email, if I specify this now, it will tell me to add the email to be the blind copy. So blind copy means that even though I'm sending an email, I can blind copy someone that you, the receiver, would not see. So let's say, for example, I'm sending an email. Let me just practicalize it. I like practicalizing it so that you can see it with your eyes. So let's say, for example, I'm sending an email and I do not want you to know that I blind copy, or added someone to that email. That is where blind copy comes in. So later on, you'll now be surprised that this email was between me and this person, but somebody else was blind copied. So that is how it would work for this. So like this now, this is where you blind copy someone. And once you blind copy the person, you as a receiver would not see the person I blind copied. Only me as a sender would be able to see it. So another option is to delete the message before it's delivered, or don't apply any action. So most cases, like I said, quarantine is the best. So I go over and allow quarantine. So apply quarantine policy. So we're going to also treat quarantine policy, but I'm just going to choose based on the one that is available. So if mailbox intelligence detects an impersonated user, what happens? As well, there are other same thing, but as usual, quarantine the message, then apply the quarantine policy, which is this one. All right, so moving forward, then hold on. Okay, so moving forward, so if the message is detected as spoof and DMARC policy is set as P reject. So yeah, I said I was going to talk about SPF, DMARC, but that will be as we go further. So let me not interject and confuse anyone. Okay, so moving forward, so we're just going to disable this so that we don't have to go through that step. We'll do that subsequently. So safety tips and indicators. So what are safety tips and indicators? So for example, show first contact safety tip recommended. Show user impersonation safety tip. So all of this is just going to be like a notification on your Outlook. So it just shows. So the tip is going to be shown to the recipients when they first receive a message from the sender, or they don't regularly receive messages from the sender. So for example, a new person, maybe I'm just communicating with Adekunle for the first time. When I send a message to him, it will tell me this person has not, just like a notification whereby it says that, oh, this person has not sent you an email before, something like that, so that you are aware that this person is a new person. So if maybe it's someone that is trying to perform a phishing attack, you'll be able to check very well to know that, okay, is this person authentic or not? So the other one is show user impersonation safety tip so as well. So this sender appears to be similar to someone who previously sent you an email, but may not be that person. So if it's if it suspects that this is an impersonated email, it will give you a safety tip on your Outlook so that you are aware of the email, and you have to take more precaution. So show user impersonation. So these are just in the safety. And that's all. Easy peasy. So with this, you have created a full-blown anti-phishing policy that will prevent any form of phishing attack. You see that it's very straightforward and very simple. Okay, so is my screen moving? I can see some complaints that my screen are not moving. I don't know if it's moving now. Please let me know if it's still stuck. Please, are we still stuck? Please let me know if is it moving. Just let me know with a thumbs up. So I'm aware. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. All right, now, so we are done with the defender anti-phishing policy.
It's moving. I think you can carry on.
Now we are, okay. All right, so now we are going over the anti-spam policy. Spam policy. All right, so for anti-spam policy, what person is just to edit the defaults, but you can as well create a new policy, because most of the time you can't delete the defaults. So to just have to just not routing, how would I put it, a part where you see a lot of policies. So I just like strictly just go with so just going to edit the default one. So we're starting with this one. All right. So we have what we call the bulk email threshold. So the lower it goes, the stricter it is. So for example, if I lower it to 5, it catches most marketing emails without breaking any form of legitimate newspaper. So if I reduce it to 4, it becomes more stricter. So that's why I say, okay, I want it to be 4. So it's, if you can see here, say a higher bulk email threshold means more bulk emails will be delivered. So it means 104 more email messages will be identified as bulk as the new BCL threshold, or 4 in the last 90 days. So like I said, lower it goes, the more it becomes more stricter. So most of the times it's always recommended that it's maybe to make it that. I mean, what will happen? You know, when I showed under review, I stated that there's a place you can actually unblock users that send bulk emails in the organization. Outside of the organization, while in some cases, maybe people are trying to send marketing emails, they send it to your organization. So what we this reduction. So in some cases, it would not allow the policy we're going to configure. So it's according to what the policy we're going to configure. So like I said, the lesser it goes, the stricter it goes. But normally standard is just 6. So just leave it at 6. So you can actually read more on it if you want to get more information. Then okay, so blah blah blah, numeric IP URL redirects other ports. Just you guys can go through. Okay, so let's just go over to mark as spam. So specific. So the reason why I just blushed through this is because I don't really configure anything here. I leave it as it is, except if you are looking for a specific thing, you want to utilize this image links to remote websites, numeric IP address and URL. So for example, if there is you want to block it, you want to block it off, just have to turn it on. If you want to test the URL direct other ports, so that means if there's a URL direct from an email, you want to turn it on, you want to label it as spam. So that's why I blush it off. So mark as spam. Empty messages, some people will just send an empty messages. If you just send, maybe you want to do tests, you just send it as empty. If it's empty, it's be labeled as spam. So if you want it to be labeled as spam, you have to turn it on. Then embedded tags in HTML. So if there are embedded tags in HTML, you want to label it as spam, you turn it on. So embedded tags are, for example, email signatures. Email signatures, yes. So you want it so maybe some specific tags are embedded in that signature, you turn it on. Then JavaScript or VB script in HTML thing, blah blah blah, you turn it on, you turn it on. Sensitive words, you turn it on. So sensitive words can sensitive words have to be to actually work. Microsoft has already list of words. So Microsoft has already some list of words. I think there's a question. Okay. Okay, let me just reshare. Since everyone is complaining. Okay. I'm going to share my entire screen just in case that is what is happening. Okay, so I don't know if everyone can see it now. There's a possibility maybe because I'll just share my Windows. Please confirm. Blank. Please, are we good? Apologies for the network ish. I don't know.
Yeah, it's blank. I think
it's blank.
I'm also having network issues here, but it's blank, Vivian.
Okay, let me see if I can switch Wi-Fi. Please hold on. Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen. Just let me know if you can see now. Okay, so I can see someone is saying yes, yes. Okay, so everyone can see it now. Okay. Sorry about that. So, I don't know. Weather just changed and everything changed. Okay, so let me just proceed. So we have the sensitive words, we have the SPF, hard fill, we have the sender ID, filtering hard fill. So most of these are just email authentications. We have the backstabber. We have contain specific words. So if you want to turn all of this, so all of these things are majorly, so if there's some specific language or specific languages, yeah, specific languages that you want to label as spam, you can always specify it. So if maybe the language is Chinese, because I know some people, once they is to say Chinese, as long as it's Chinese, just push it to my spam. So if you want to also specify from specific countries, if emails are coming from a specific country, label it as spam, all those things, you can actually do that. So we're just going to turn it off because it's going to be a lot of configurations. So so this is it. Yeah. So save. So if you notice, like most of the time, I don't really, the only thing I work on for this is just the bulk email threshold. The rest, except if maybe a specific organization says, okay, this thing, international spam, international regional spam, I want this configured. If not, just let it go. So not to waste much time on that. So this is where the action is. So if all those things we've configured are if all those things we've configured is being done, what is the message actions? So okay, someone said I should go over anti-spam again, but that's like another minutes. Apologies, let me just proceed. If we have more time, I'll go back. So for spam, move message to, if an email is labeled as spam, what happens? Move message to junk email folder, add X header, prehend subject line with text, redirect message to email address, just like how we had the same thing for the other policies. Delete message. So most of the time, as usual, I always do quarantine message. But in some cases, some organizations just decide to move messages to junk folder. So that's why most times you see that maybe spam emails are going to, that's all those marketing emails are going to your junk folder. That's because your IT admin has specified that I should go to junk folder. But in most organizations, especially proper organizations, they do not even allow anything to move to junk email. So there's high confidence spam, also move message to quarantine. Then there's phishing, do the same, quarantine. I'm just using quarantine based on based on CIS benchmark. So CIS benchmark is more like a process and procedure. I think I'll just send more like understanding of CIS benchmark so you understand. So it's more like a process and procedures that you must follow in terms of implementing Microsoft 365 solution for your organization. So there's CIS benchmark, there's NIST, there's other regulations too as well. All right, so quarantine as usual. Bulk compliance level, talking about the BCL that we just configured, if it meets or exceed. So that means if it meets at 6 or exceed 6, what happens? Quarantine. So retain spam in we quarantine for this how many of days. So if you want to retain it in a specific amount of days, you can specify it here, and then as usual, our safety tips. Then our 0-hour auto purge, which detects and neutralize phishing, spam, or malware messages that have already been delivered to the Exchange Online mailbox. So it checks and makes sure that whatever email has been deleted, whatever email has been sent to the Exchange Online mailbox, it makes sure that there are no spam or phishing emails in it. So enable for phishing emails and enable for spam emails. So it just goes and checks the inbox to make sure that those emails are not there. So we're done with this. So this is for inbound. Inbound means emails coming inside. So if Adekunle is in another organization, he's sending emails to me. This is the configuration policies that was put in place for it. So we have connection filter. So what connection filter mostly does is if you want to allow messages from a specific IP address. So if you have a specific IP address, most times it's always used for maybe you have third-party email security solutions, maybe like so many third-party email solutions that you can use, Sophos and etc. So those third-party solutions, most of the time there's always an issue. So maybe if they have specific IP addresses, you can just put it here so that there will be no issue, but not advisable as usual. Then block messages coming from a specific IP address so as well. So that's what connection filter does. Then you have the anti-spam outbound policy. So this is now for users sending outside. So so set an external message limit. So if you want to set a limit for external messages, it's only some. I would say it's not, you can hardly see organizations that decide to set external message limits. External message limits can be maybe users are only allowed to send 4 or 5 external messages in a day, which does not make any sense. So that's why I said it is rare. So set an internal message limit so as well. Then set a daily message limit. So restriction placed on users who reach the message limit. So restrict the user from sending mail until the following day. So that's why I said you see that it's only in rare cases. Then restrict the user from sending email. So then we now have automatic forwarding. So some users, maybe they want to be forwarding emails to maybe some people like forwarding emails to what example I use, maybe they want to forward emails to another person, maybe in the organization, or maybe external usernames or external emails, maybe like for example Gmail, they want to be forwarding emails to a specific Gmail account for their reasons best known to them. So this is where you turn on the forwarding rules. So by default, it's automatically system controlled. So that means forwarding will not be enabled. But if you enable forwarding, you can now be able to create forwarding for that user. Then notifications, send a copy of suspicious outbound messages or messages that exceed this limit to a certain email address. You can specify it. So I'll just specify my full domain. Let me see if I can remember. So that's it for anti-spam. So let's move over. Let me bring my charger on the floor. All right, so let's move over to another one, which is going to be anti-malware. And see why I said I can't go back because there's still a lot. Let me just confirm there's no message. Okay. All right, so All right, so let's go back to anti-malware. So normally I always do default because anti-malware policies are very, very small. There's nothing much under this. So I hope I'm audible, please. I hope everyone can hear me. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you, Vivian.
All right. Okay, so for anti-malware policy, like I said, it's just a little, so there's nothing much here. So I always use default as well, but you can always create a policy so that you have your naming convention aligned. So we have enable 0-hour auto purge for malware, and we have the enable the common attachments filter. So if you want to maybe add some attachment filter that if it comes, like all of these things now, if an attachment filter based on all of this comes into the mailbox, it's not even come into the mailbox because it would move it as a malware, so it won't come in. So if all of these file types, based on what you can see here, when these file types are found in your email, reject the message with a non-delivery recipient, receipt NDR, or you can just say quarantine the message. The reason why I like quarantine the message is because there are some things that might really be needed either ways. So as usual, quarantine policy, notify an admin about undelivered message. You can do that. You add the email address, then notify an admin about undelivery from external sender. So if there is no, if you want admin to be notified about an undelivered message from an external sender, so if maybe someone is trying to send an email with any of these file types and they're unable to send it successfully, the admin will get notified. So we have to turn this off. So that's for malware. Nothing much. So now let's go over to save attachments and save links. So for save attachments as well, I'll be creating a policy because I want to create one. Save attachment, save tests. As usual, specify domains. So I'm just going to be choosing my domain. All right, so now this is the settings for save attachment. So before you even configure, you will see what each configuration means. So monitor and block actions might cause a significant delay in message. So if I want to configure save attachment, I don't think I should click on off. I mean, some people feel like they've configured it when they off it. I mean, how does that work? So for save attachments, there are 3 options that you can put in place if you really want to configure this. One is monitor. So monitor means you deliver the message if malware is detected and track scanning results. So it's the first delivered message, then it would be tracking the scanning results to make sure that the attachment is safe for it to deliver to the user. The second one is very, very intrusive. I mean, monitor is intrusive too because it's just going to deliver the message, not going to deliver the attachments. The attachments might just disappear. Then you have the block current and future messages and attachments with detected malware. So if there's any form of detection of malware or anything at all in the attachments, it's saying you should block the future, the great future, the recent future, and the current future, which is very, very harmful because you might actually have false positives and you might block legitimate emails. Then dynamic delivery, which is what most organizations use, is so what it does is once an email comes in, it delivers the email immediately and now without the attachment. So it scans the attachment. Once the scanning is complete, it then delivers it. So all of this happens in seconds. It's not that it's going to take time. All of this happens within seconds. I mean, once the email comes in, immediately before you open the email, the attachment comes in. That's the scanning has been done and it comes in. So if it detects any form of malicious attachment, you see what happens. See what will happen, what action will put in place. So redirect messages with detected attachments. So if there are messages that has detected attachments, we're going to redirect them. So we are going to redirect them to the admin, so that the admin would not, it's not that the admin will go and open it to, no, the admin will use the, because of that is just going to utilize the Explorer to check what exactly is in the attachment and make sure that all measures are put in place to make sure that attachment is not going to harm anyone. So I'm not going to do this so that I can move further. So that's it for redirect safe attachments. See, straightforward, simple. Then for safe links, as usual, I'm creating a new one. Adding my domain. So, all right. So for safe links, we have different services for it. So we have emails, we have Teams, we have Office apps. So for emails, we're talking about safe links. So what safe links does is when an email is sent with a URL, it is the URL will be rewritten by default. So what does this mean? I wish I can show an example. Let me see. So I'm trying to see if I can get an example so you understand what I mean by rewritten. All right, okay. Yes, I think I've gotten something. You have AI, it just helps you. Easy. Okay, so I'm going to open my notepad. Okay. So this is an original link. So let's say, for example, a link like this is sent to your Gmail. I'm sorry, your organizational email. So this is how it looks like. This is a normal original email. So this is what it's going to rewrite it to. So this is what I was talking about when I said rewritten URL. So it's going to attach it's going to attach this safe links protection URL. So it has rewritten it to the safe link URL, and it's saying that this link is safe and is already protected. So that means you don't have to worry about it. So for example, if an email link like this is sent to you and you click on it, let's say you click on the link, it will rewrite the link to this. So that's what I mean by malicious links. URLs are rewritten by default. Yeah. So you can, at this point where you have this here, you can, if you don't want it to rewrite, you can specify do not rewrite URLs. So second option is apply safe links to email messages sent within the organization. Yes, even though it's sent within the organization, apply it. Don't trust anybody. Remember our yesterday's this thing. Don't trust anyone when it comes to zero trust. So it means that just assume breaches. Assume breach in your organization, don't trust. So yes, we're going to apply safe links to email messages sent within the organization. We're also going to apply real-time URL scanning for suspicious links and links that points to files. So it's going to be a real-time. And like I said, all of this happens within seconds, within minutes. It's not something that you will even notice is even going on safe. Like you just sharp, and it's just deliver your messages. Then you have wait for URL to complete before delivering a message. Yes, before you have to wait. Yeah, there's no hurry in life. You have to wait. Let me finish delivering. Okay. Please let me know if you can still see my screen, or I don't know what network is doing to me. Rain, why this night? Okay. Let me know if you can still see my screen. My screen, is it okay? Okay. Please give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen, please. Thumbs up, please. Good. Okay. Thank you. All right. So I stopped here. Yeah. Wait for URL scanning to complete before delivering a message. Yes. There's no hurry in life. Wait. So do not rewrite URLs to check blah 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 blah. So if you do not want to rewrite, like I explained, that rewriting of URLs, you can specify. So for Teams too, the same thing. Safe links, malicious, blah blah blah. There should be a check. For Office applications too, there should be a check. Then click protection settings, track user clicks. Let users click through to the original URL, definitely. Then display the organization branding on notification and warning pages. So if maybe there is the link decides to bypass everything and users click on it, it should display a warning page that this is not this should not be clicked on or something like that. This is malicious. I don't know if any of you have seen those warning pages that comes in. Maybe if you're trying to access a website, it brings a red warning page that tells you do you want to proceed further, all those type of things. Yeah, that's what it entails. So once you're done, review, submit. And that's it. All right, so that's that for this, for policies. And we have rules. So we have tenants allow and block list. So if you have maybe domains or email addresses you want to allow by default, like I said, the reasons why it's not advisable to allow is because some people can impersonate, and once they impersonate, because you allow that sender address, that's it. So this is where you allow domains and email addresses. Right, spoof senders. So if you have spoofed, if you have some senders already that are labeled as spoofed and you know them already, so you can add those domains to this so that particular domain will not be able to have the guts to send anything to your organization. So, when it comes to attackers, they don't use one, they keep changing, but there's some attackers that they don't even have sense and they just keep using the same domain. And yeah, but for those that are smart, yes, you just add their domain and prevent it. So there's internal spoof type and external spoof type too as well. So you add the spoof sender. Then you have URLs too as well. You can allow or block URLs so that maybe if that specific URL comes into emails, you know that it's not allowed or you've blocked it, that's it. Or maybe you are specific about a URL and probably that URL is something you want to utilize. Maybe it's important and you know that for sure, maybe safe links is going to mark it as not safe. I don't know why an organization would want to allow that too, but yes, either ways, that is in that scenario. Then you have allow files. If you want to allow files as well, you can actually allow it. IP addresses, you have specific IP addresses you want to allow. Same here, you can do that. Yeah, so this is Team Sender. Okay, so you then have the email. You have the email authentication settings. Don't be like me, whereby when I just see this, I don't even care about, I don't even want to know what it is. I just move forward to what I already know, which is DK. So let's talk about ARC sealers. So the question now is, what does ARC web sealers solve? What does it solve? Now, I'm going to use a very layman explanation so that it's going to be very easy to understand. Okay, so I'm going to use letters, like sending letters as an example. So imagine you send a sealed letter to a friend, and on the envelope there is all those wax seal that you put on those letters that proves that it really came from you. So now imagine your friend mail is being forwarded through a middleman, and you say maybe like a mail room that opens every letter. And once the stamp is, once maybe, for example, the middleman, the mail room stamps the letter as being reviewed and reseals it before it passes it on. So you know that the first seal has been broken. So that means when the letter has gotten to your friend, your friend will not know if this really came from you, because the former seal has been removed. That means another, based on it went through the middleman, which is went through the mail room, and they had to open the letter and stamp the letter as review, something like that. So your friend will not know whether it was you, if it really came from you, because the middleman tampered with the envelope of the letter. So that is how that is how we are going to basically talk about this ARC sealer. So this happens with email all the time. When email passes through a third-party service like its security filter, I think I mentioned Sophos. I mentioned I didn't mention Mimecast. Mimecast is also a security filter. So some organizations decide to utilize other security for their emails, in as much as Microsoft provides you with Microsoft Defender for Office for email security. So this is what happens, like when you use third-party email security, or the process I just using the letter using the letter and the envelope, the process. That is what literally happened when you use a third-party email security. So the modification breaks the original authentication seals, the SPF, DKIM, DMARC, that proves that the email is legitimate. So the result of the real email from the real sender gets flagged as suspicious, and sometimes is dumped in junk. So what ARC does is, so ARC is like the middleman saying, okay, yes, I have checked this letter when it's arrived and the seal was genuine. Trust me on this. Here's my own seal vouching that, okay, this thing was genuine. So let's just allow it. So that's what ARC does. So ARC makes sure that it's lets you know that, okay, it's not going to be that other middleman whereby it has to open it to verify, okay, if it's authentic before it then labels that seal. It just lets you know that, okay, I verified that this letter is genuine. Trust me, there's nothing else you need to do. Here's my own seal vouching that, okay, this is what I saw based on the email. And when Microsoft 365 receives an email and sees that there is an AR seal from the middleman, it has a choice. So it trusts the middleman's word or it just ignores it. So that is what AR seal is all about. You can actually learn more about it as well. Let me know buttress more on it. So now I will talk about the key SPF and the mark, because if I just talk about the key, it might not really make sense. So let me just talk about everything at once. So for SPF, so what it does is, so when an email arrives, claiming to be from maybe a specific company, let me just use this example, yourcompany.com, and the receiving server checks, did this email actually come from one of the approved servers on the list? If yes, SPF passes it, and it makes sure that, okay, it didn't come from any random server in another country. So if it labels it as, so all of these things are working in the back end, just in case you might be trying to understand, okay, how is the process, what policies you need to create. But for SPF records, you have to add it to your domain, your DNS provider, so your domain service provider. You have to add those records to your domain service provider. So if you add the SPF to, is a TXT record. So SPF is a TXT record. Let me just show an example. I don't know if this has been taught. Maybe I'm just repeating. Sorry about that. Okay, so for DNS records, sorry. So because I do not have a domain, so it won't show up. But for these are just normal Microsoft domains. So because I don't have a domain, it won't show up. But normally you would have, for any domain you add, you have DNS, you have DNS records, you have SPF. So the major reason for SPF is to authenticate the sender mail server by IP address against a list of authorized domain owners. So if maybe you do not configure your SPF records, there are a lot of things that can actually happen. When you send an email to people, you get a lot of people saying that, oh, your emails were blocked, or we're not able to receive your emails, or maybe those emails were moved to their junk or quarantine because they didn't trust it. They didn't trust that, okay, this domain is coming from a list of authorized domains. So that's what's majorly, in summary, what SPF does, and it's a TXT record. Then we now have the